Alright, I want to thank you guys for coming in on our day off today. I know this is the end of our spring break, and I know it was tough for everybody to come in, but like I said, I had to get this done for my project, so I wanted to go ahead and get everybody in today before tomorrow. Alright, so what I want to talk to you guys about is the flipped classroom model that I have done with my resource classroom the past 2 weeks now. Well, 3 weeks actually. So, let's get right into it. So, right here I have the table of contents. Alright, we have the vision statement. We're going to talk about the PLC plan part 1. Part 2, I'm going to talk about my sample group a little bit. We're going to go over the data that I've collected, and then have a chance for you guys to do reflection and wrap up. Ask for some questions, comments, and concerns there at the end.
Are you going to email this to us?
Yes, I will email this to you guys. Actually, I can do that as soon as we get done here. I'll go ahead and email that out to you guys, alright? Alright, so, the agenda. First thing we're going to talk about is I'm going to identify the problem. I'm going to give an overview of the flipped classroom model. I know some of you guys know what the flipped classroom model is because Mr. Braun, one of our teachers here, actually does it in his classroom, which is where I've tried to adopt it from him. We're going to talk about what the research says. There's a short activity. Then we're going to talk about the interventions. Like I said, we're going to go over the data, and then there'll be a summary at the end. So the vision statement. My vision statement is, the Special Education Department recognizes that curriculum, instruction, and assessment are always evolving. In order to meet the diverse needs of today's students, we must adapt and stay ahead. As special educators, we will design our instruction in a way that not only prepares students to be successful in their core classes, but they will also be college or career ready when they leave Simon Kenton High School. That is a main goal that we always emphasize here at Simon Kenton, is we want our kids to be college or career ready. Alright, so my problem identified. Alright, so students struggle completing homework assigned to them in their class. Alright, this is obviously, they come to my classroom, study skills, they have 45 to 50 minutes. What we normally do is they have about 30 minutes of instruction. Well, I'll go over specially designed instruction to help meet their needs. And then they get the last 15-20 minutes to work on their own assignments, work on their homework, get things caught up. It's hard for them to do the homework out in their core classes, and it's definitely hard for when I assign homework for them to do it in my class. Assistance isn't always at home to help them when they're struggling. Students love to use technology, but not when they need it to do research. That's a big thing with today that we all see. Technology. Kids love to sit on technology. Right now, I got some of you guys who are on your cell phones right now. But hey, I mean, that's just the world we live in right now, alright? You're going to be on your cell phones. Kids are the same way. They sit in class, they sit on their cell phones. But when I ask them to do research, to use their, their technology to help them out, it's, oh, my phone doesn't work, my phone's dead, or, they're too busy doing this, they can't use their data, but yet they can use their data for Twitter, Facebook, and all of that stuff. So, and then a lot of times parents, I have kids of my own, and I know that sometimes, it's going to get to a point where they're probably going to bring home some work that I'm not going to know how to do because of the way stuff's done nowadays. There's different teaching styles, different teaching methods. I have that problem now where I'm going over something with a kid and I'm doing it, the way that I was taught, and they're like, well, this is how Miss So-and-so wants us to do it. So that's a big thing, is there's not always that assistance at home to help them get stuff done. Students aren't always willing to ask questions in front of other peers. With something that I see definitely in my fourth period is my social skills class. So obviously with them struggling socially, they do not want to ask questions when they're stuck on something. So if they don't understand something, they don't raise their hand and say, hey, Mr. Hester, can we do this? Can you fix this? Can you help me do this? They won't do that. They just won't ask questions. They'll just go on and continue to not know how to do it, or they'll wait till they get that one-on-one opportunity to when they can, come to me individually and say, hey, I don't understand this, or, hey, can I help? And some of them won't even do that just because they don't want to have that confrontation with me. They don't want to have the confrontation of, their other peers seeing them ask a question and them not knowing what's going on. So, definitely with my fourth period, I see that. And then when given one-on-one, like I said, when students have my fourth period class, when they have the opportunity to have that one-on-one instruction, that one-on-one teaching, they will ask the questions that they don't understand. They will ask, for me to show them another example, for me to show them how to do this. So that's something that, like I said, I've noticed with my fourth period. Alright, so I want to talk a little bit about the flipped classroom method. Alright, so basically what it does is it flips everything around. Alright, so instead of receiving your lectures in the classroom, they're now receiving their lecture at home. Instead of doing homework at home, they're now doing it at school. So Their notes will be their homework. So what they'll do is they'll go home. We've done, like I said, we've already done 6 videos so far in the last 3 weeks. And what they are going to do, what they do is they go home, they watch their video, they take notes. There's a few practice problems for them to do, not many, usually 1 or 2 for them to do. I'm usually helping them on the video. And then when they come back to school, while they're at home, they also write down any questions that they have in case, if there's something that they didn't understand or whatnot, they can ask it when they get that one-on-one time at school. So then when we come back to school, they have their notes already done, they've already received the lecture, and now I give them their actual, what would be homework, and they have the opportunity to work on it in class. During this class period time, I walk around, and like I said, mine's a resource setting classroom, so my classroom usually is from about 5 to 10 kids. With this intervention I use with my 4th period class, everybody knows I only have 8 kids in there, so that sample size is only 8. But I can get around in that 50 minutes to those 8 kids, and I can almost spend 10 to 15 minutes with each kid asking questions or answering questions, them asking any questions that they have, and I can spend a lot of that time getting their questions answered and making sure that they actually understand what's going on. Because in my classroom, it's all review stuff. It's the specially designed instruction. It's what they need the help on. Then when they're out in their core classes, they hopefully, the more that they work on this, usually we do math, reading and writing, the more that they build on these skills, it helps them for when they're in their core classes. And then like I said, in classrooms, when they're in my class, I'll have more homework problems for them to do in my class, which is reinforcing the problems for them to do in class. The teacher is where the students need help. So when they have those questions, I'm there to help them. I can answer any questions that they have, and then that way, hopefully clear up any of that problems that they're struggling with, basically. This way, when receiving the lecture at home on video, with my students, it helps really good because they're able to stop, pause, replay, go back. They can do whatever they need to do on the video because it's all on a Google Docs. I upload it so what I'll do is I usually do it the night before and I get it uploaded. And then all they have to do, they all already have access to it. They get on the Google Doc and then it'll come up and they can click, play it. They can stop it, pause it, rewind it, fast forward it, do whatever they need to do for them to understand the material. Alright? It's actually really cool. Like I said, I've kind of adopted this from one of our teachers in our building, and it's actually been a huge success so far in my 4th period class, which I've already done with. Alright, so there's the outline of the experiment. So this is the implementation, basically. Outline of the experiment. All kids are going to have the same notes. With my kids, what I'm going to do is I've done guided notes for them. So that way they all have the same notes, and then all they do is they follow along through my lecture, and when I say something that I feel like is important that they need to know, there's a blank form, guided notes, they can fill it in. That way all my kids are on the same page, they all have the same guided notes. They all do the same practice problems. Like I said, I give them 2 to 3 problems to do on the lecture. I go over them with them, and then they can bring, if they have questions when doing it that they weren't able to understand with me going over it with them, then they can bring that back to school the next day and get those questions answered. Because what I do for the first 5 to 10 minutes is I'll go over each problem that we had practice problem-wise, and then we'll go over them as a class, even though that we did it on the video. It's the same assessments, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to compare my 1st and 6th period classes to my 4th period. So what I'm going to do is, for this intervention, is I flipped my 4th period class, and my 1st and 6th period are going to still do the traditional style lecture that I always do. And like I said, I'll explain that a little bit. So I'm using the flip method. I've done already 6